Yon world, what's the deal? It's your boy Original Dion, and today we about to have a little story time on my channel so y'all can get to know your boy a little bit more. Go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for your boy Yon world. Now, this video is gonna be titled "When I Was 7 years old, I died and came back to life." And it's not clickbait; it's a real thing. This shit actually happened to me, and I'm about to tell y'all everything that was a result. Now, this video was inspired by a conversation I just recently had with my grandma. So, when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, my childhood, it was different. Like, it wasn't like how everybody's childhood was. Like, you know what I'm saying, my mama, she worked 2 jobs. So, a lot of times, you know, if I wasn't staying at an after-school program called Latchkey, I was at my grandma's house. And my grandma, she stayed on Hartwell in Plymouth. And I spent a lot of time over there on Hartwell in Plymouth. And you don't know where that's at in Detroit, that's the trenches. You know, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the hood, you know what I'm saying, over there. You know, I went to elementary school over there, everything. So, but during this time, I was 7 years old. So, you know, around there, you know, we used to do a lot of stuff. We used to run around the block. You know, we used to play football. We used to always be outside on the block, through the alleys, at the stove, getting pizza, you know, walking up the street, you know, trying to get some fireworks, like doing all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? We used to always be outside and around there, you know. And growing up, my childhood was different too, because my grandma, she abused drugs. Like, she abused drugs real heavy, you know, and she was on crack. And, you know, we had to, you know, live with that. We had to see her, you know, episodes and all of that, you know. But that's a whole different video, you know, for y'all. But, you know, that was a big part of my childhood, you know what I'm saying? That's why I believe, you know, like, I'm like a little standoffish, and like I don't really open up to, you know, people off the rip, you know what I'm saying? Like, people call me like, why are you so, people ask me a lot, like, why are you so quiet? You know, people ask me that shit. But, you know, I'm real expansive in my mind. You know, I be observing people and shit. But, you know, during this time, you know, we used to always, you know, wrestle. Like, everybody on the block, like, everybody, we was physical kids. Like, we was always active doing shit. You know what I'm saying? And my cousin Patrick, you know, Brandon on the block, like, everybody, like, we used to just always be wrestling and shit. So, it was one day, we all at my grandma's house, right? We upstairs in my cousin Patrick's room. So we wrestling. So I try to grab somebody. I don't know who it was. It was probably Brandon. And I was like trying to tackle him, but, you know, I had kind of head dived into the wall. Like, my head had dived into the wall, and it was a nail hanging out the wall, right? It was a nail, and they like punctured my skull, right? They punctured my shit, like bust my head wide open, right? It was a big ass cut. And when this happened, you know, everybody just kind of broke. Like, they just kind of got scared, just ran, like trying to go get my grandma. And I'm just looking at shit, like looking at all this blood in my hand, like dog, like just. And I go to my granny, like, I'm crying and shit. At this point, I'm looking at her, I'm like, Granny, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, call somebody, like, take me to the hospital, you know what I'm saying? Like, help me. And she, like, only thing she told me, she was like, don't look in the mirror. She was like, don't look in the mirror. Don't look in the mirror. And, you know, saying that, now I want to see, like, because I'm looking, and I'm seeing just blood on my hand. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Everybody just going crazy. So I go to the bathroom, I look in the mirror, like, I'm like trying to look at this shit, and then I just see, like, I just remember, like, me looking at it in the mirror and, like, all this blood. I just pass out, like, I'm talking about complete blackout, like, I faint on the ground, you know what I'm saying? And after that, I don't remember anything. I don't remember nothing. Like, the next memory of my life was me taking out my stitches at my mama's house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a time where, you know, I was younger, you know, obviously at 7 years old, I lived with my mama. So, you know, I had to take out my own stitches. it was like even my mom didn't acknowledge the fact that I cracked my head. Like I never went to no medical treatment afterwards, nothing, like none of that. And you know what I'm saying, recently I asked my grandma, I asked my granny, I was like, do you remember like the time where I cracked my head, like when I bust my head open? She was like, nah, so I don't remember that. Like, no, I'm talking about no recollection of it. And now, mind you, my grandma was on drugs. You know, that's why I said that in the beginning, like my grandma did abuse drugs. You know what I'm saying? But my mama don't even recall, you know, certain shit. And it just made me think like, did I really die and come back? Because after that happened, one thing that really affected me, you know what I'm saying, was my ability to do something called remote view. Now after that, it was a lot of times where I was able, it was like, all right, so remote viewing is like the spiritual shit. So I was able to see myself it's like an out of body experience where you're able to see yourself. So when I was younger, I used to be able to see myself laying in bed. Like, it was so crazy, dog. Like, and look, we don't really talk about stuff like that. Like, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, like what I said, like, we don't talk about dreams, like, we don't talk about none of this stuff. And I think the fact that I was exposed to this other world, you know, so early, it made me a so-called introvert, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really tell people this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just starting to open up and share more with y'all because, you know, I just thought about all of this when I asked my grandma recently, like, you know, you remember when I cracked my head? You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm figuring out is I got some type of PTSD, like when it comes to like medical, it's like past life trauma almost. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling it a past life event because I'm talking about when nobody remember this shit, and I still got the scar. Like, if I was to cut my hair, like, you could feel it. Like, it's like right here in the center of my head. Like, it's a scar, bro. And, you know, hair grew over it and everything. So it's, I don't know. Like, you would think hair wouldn't grow over a scar. Like, it's just crazy to me. But my mama don't remember, my grandma don't remember. You know what I'm saying? And I had to take out my own stitches, and I was able to remote view afterward, you know. And growing up, like, we don't talk about our dreams, we don't talk about none of that stuff. So it made me like standoffish. Like, I don't tell nobody that I'm able to, you know, lucid dream and shit, like, other than YouTube. Like, but that ain't something I talk about with my cousins. Like, you know, I'm able to go to this different dimension and travel. But it all came after I cracked my head open, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's like a spiritual awakening. Like, I had to die and come back because it came back with some shit. Like, I was able to remote view. Never told nobody that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just putting everything together because my grandma don't remember it. I mean, no recollection, nothing. And then when I watch certain medical, like I was watching Forrest Gump, man, and it was like the part, you know, Forrest Gump, it was a movie where he was like playing in all these different main events that happened in American history, you know what I'm saying? And one part he went to the war, you know, in Vietnam, and nigga, shit, it was like people was blowing up, like people was just blowing up everywhere. And it was one part where he picked up cuz with no legs, like but they was like in the army medical office, and it just had it caused me to have a flashback, like about like this trauma. It was this crazy feeling, like it almost felt like I was about to leave it felt like I was about to faint, dog. Like it felt like I was about to leave out my body or die or some shit, because I'm just watching this by myself. I'm just watching the movie and I'm like, whoa, I feel weird. Like I felt like crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was about to leave out my body and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And I couldn't control it. So I just got up and I went outside and shit. And I was just looking. I was just thinking, like, why did that happen? You know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking, like, what I was watching before. I'm like, it was like a medical, you know, somebody like lost their legs or something. It was just, but it's like I got this trauma about medical shit too, because of what happened to me, you know, as a kid. Like, I cracked my skull and nobody remember that junk. Man, nobody remember that junk. So it's just crazy, man. But it's your boy Young World, man. That's my story time for the day. You know, I just wanted to share that. You know, I'm talking to my grandma, like, you really don't remember when I cracked my head? Like, You know, mind you, she was on what she was on. You know, but my mama too. You don't remember neither. Cause I didn't have no other medical treatment. I remember I took out my shit on my own. I was 7 years old taking out stitches, you know, and then like I'm putting it together, like I'm able to lucid dream now. Like I was lucid dreaming. My mama stayed on Joy Road and Memorial, and I'm going out of my body, like looking at myself. Crazy, man. But it's your boy Young World. Let me know what y'all think of this video. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be dropping more videos for y'all, more knowledge, more wisdom. So leave a like, comment, subscribe to your boy.